In this video, I'll be giving you guys the top 3 best center builds that you can make right now on NBA 2K26. It doesn't matter what mode you play 2s, you play 3s, you play 5s, or what your play style is. I will have a build for you in this video, and I will leave timestamps so you know exactly when that build will be shown. Whether you have no cap breakers, whether you have 10 cap breakers, these builds are the best center builds you can make on the game right now. I don't want to waste any more time. Please do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And let's just get into the top 3 center builds on NBA 2K26. So the first center build that I will be showing you guys is just easily the best center build in the game by height, by just everything. And you will be a 7 foot, so you will be a footer, go center obviously, 252 pounds with a 7'5" wingspan. Now we're gonna start off right away with our 3-point shot. It's 2K26, so the best thing you can do is be a popper and be able to spread the floor for your teammates, whether that be in park or rec. So 83.70 mid-range is good enough. You should be able to hit all your shots with these ratings. You do not need to go higher on poppers. And after that, I like to go to my physicals just because these are very important, and I just always max your speed and your agility on almost every build, but especially center builds. You need to max your speed, you need to max your agility because they're not that high regardless, and then come down to your vertical and go ahead and max this out as well to an 83, because as you see at the bottom, the difference between 82 and 83 is that Hall of Fame pogo stick, which can make a big difference. And then lastly is strength. We're gonna go ahead and put our strength all the way up to a 91, and like I said, I will go over where you put your cap breakers. I'll let you guys know right now, if you want to put your cap breakers on strength, you can put 4 here to get this to a 95, which will get you Hall of Fame brick wall. But this is where I would suggest using your max +1s or max +2s, but as of right now, leave it at 91 strength. And then come over to your rebounding, and we're gonna go ahead and put our offensive rebounding up to a 94. So this will be your highest attribute on this build, a 94 offensive rebound. And then come down to defensive rebound and put this all the way up to an 88. Now you can reverse these if you want. It's all personal preference. If you want to have a 94 defensive, 88 offensive, you can do that. I think offensive is more valuable because you need to get more crashing rebounds when you're not actually in position. And this is where we will use our first 5 cap breakers to get this to a 99. The reason you get this to a 99 is so that you get both box out beast and rebound chaser on legend, which is just very important. And having that 99 offensive rebound will make it so when you aren't in position, you will get those crazy rebounding animations. And even when you are on the defensive side, where you would think, oh, you only have an 88 defensive rebound, well, you have both those badges on legend, so you still get crazy animations. So go ahead and put your 5 cap breakers here on offensive rebound, and then if you have additional cap breakers, I would put it on either defensive rebound or strength to get this to a 95, so that you do get that brick wall on Hall of Fame without using your max +1 or max +2. Next, come over to your defense, and you will have very good defense on this build. You're going to put your interior up to an 82. You're going to put your perimeter up to a 60 because you don't really play that much perimeter defense on a footer anyway. And then you are going to put your steal all the way up to a 60 to at least unlock that bronze interceptor badge. And then of course, as a center, your best defensive rating will be block, which will be all the way up to an 88, which will get you high flying denier on gold, which is very important. So you have solid defense on this build. You're a footer, so you don't need super high interior. As long as you are in position with your right stick up, hands up defense, people will not make it, especially with that 88 block. And then your pass accuracy, whether you play rec or park, it doesn't matter. Having high pass accuracy on a footer like this is very important. So we're going to go ahead and put this all the way up to an 87, which will get you gold dimer, which I know a lot of people love to use their max +1 or max +2 on to get that even higher for your teammates. And then of course, gold break starter if you play rec or pro-am, so you get that rebound and you just chuck it down court for those quick, fast breaks. And then lastly, your finishing. You're going to put a 73 driving dunk to unlock bronze posterizer, so you at least get some decent contact animations if you're forced into one. And then of course, standing dunk all the way up to a 90, which gets you that gold rise up, which is actually a major difference maker to silver. If you catch the ball in the paint and you have gold rise up at a 90 standing dunk, not only do you unlock better standing dunk animations that are quicker, but you just get that gold rise up badge, which makes it just go down way quicker so you don't get blocked. So this is pretty much it. If you play Pro-Am, go ahead and put it on your free throw or rec. I would put it on my free throw. If you play strictly park, you can put on your steal, perimeter, even mid-range if you want that a little higher. You have like very minimal attributes left. So we're just going to go ahead and put the rest on our free throw just in case you play Rec or Pro-Am to see what the final build looks like right here. And this is it at a 99 overall. So to go over it one last time very quickly in the important attributes, you will have an 83 pointer, which is more than high enough to be able to hit your shots on 2K26. As you guys know, it's very easy to shoot this year, so 83 point is more than good enough. I just went over the standing dunk. 90 with that gold rise up is very important on these footers. 73 driving dunk to at least unlock bronze posterizer. 87 pass accuracy, so you get gold dimer and gold break starter. Of course, you can use one of your max +1s or max +2s on that dimer to get that to Hall of Fame or Legend. As a footer, you will be a very good defender on this build. 82 interior and 88 block are very good. The gold high flying denier badge is definitely the most important defensive badge you unlock on this build. Steal is not really a great stat in this game. If you're there and you have at least bronze interceptor, which you get by putting your steal up to a 60, you will get steals in the passing lane, and then 60 perimeter because you're not really playing perimeter defense that often, and when you are, you at least need a tiny bit of rating, which 60 is good enough. And then we get to the cap breaker part of the build. 94 offensive rebound, 88 defensive. Like I said earlier, you can switch these up if you want. It's all personal preference. I think offensive is more important because you need to get crashing rebounds when you're not in position. And this is where you will use your first 5 cap breakers to get a 99 offensive rebound to get both box out beast and rebound chaser on legend, which means that the other rating will be slightly boosted because you have those badges on legend. Then you will have a 68 speed, 56 agility. You just max them no matter what. Just maxing these ratings are super important. 91 strength, and this is where you will use your last cap breakers, if you have them, to get this to a 95 so that you will get brick wall on Hall of Fame, which is very important when setting screens. If you don't have those cap breakers, use one of your max +1s or max +2s on brick wall to get it to Hall of Fame or Legend if you really want. And you can also use your remaining cap breakers on either defensive rebound or block. That's where I would put them if you have even more than 8, 9, 10 cap breakers. It would go rebound rating, strength, and then block, and then of course 83 vertical for that pogo stick Hall of Fame. This is the footer build. I think this is just the best center build you can make in the game, and let's see what this build is called. So when you make this build, you are a Diamond Glass Guardian Riser, actually a pretty cool name, and I'm sure once you put cap breakers on it, it might even change the name then. You see the build doesn't really have weaknesses because nobody really cares about post scoring and nobody goes for layup. So no weaknesses, some great badges, great top attributes. By far, in my opinion, the best center build you can make in the game. Definitely the best for Rec. But if you want something a little bit faster for Park, let me show you guys this next build. So like I just said, if you want to play mainly Park or even kind of like the power forward in Pro-Am or Rec, then you don't want to make a footer. You want to make a faster build. So try this build out. Of course, you go center, 6'9", so that you are much faster, and you will see when I show you the attributes. 244 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan, which is maxed on this build. And then, just like the last build, you're going to go ahead and max out your 3-point shot to the same exact rating. 83.70 midi, just like the last build. You don't need higher than an 80 3-pointer on these poppers. Your guards will have some sort of dimer at all times, and 83 point on 2K26 is more than consistent enough, so that is perfect. And then of course next we're going to go over to our rebounding, and I will say one thing about the 6'9", this build is much more reliant on cap breakers because it gets less attributes because of how much different your physicals are. Like your physicals are much higher ratings, so you're going to need more cap breakers on these builds. We're going to go ahead and put our offensive rebound to a 91 and then our defensive rebound to an 88, and this is where you will use your first 5 cap breakers on your offensive rebound to get this to a 96. And the reason you get it to a 96 is because at that point you will get box out beast on Hall of Fame and rebound chaser on Hall of Fame. So you will have both of those badges on Hall of Fame, and you will use your max +1 badge on both of these, or just one if you want, to get it on Legend. So 91 offensive rebound, use your first 5 cap breakers on that, and then if you want to, you can use more cap breakers on defensive rebound, or I'll show you guys an alternative after this, which will be your physicals. So like I said, this build is going to be very, very fast, and on all center builds, max your physicals. 80 speed, you're going to have a 76 agility. So you can see the difference between the footer that I just showed you that I definitely think is good for like 2s and good for Pro-Am or Rec, compared to this build, which is probably better on 3s because of how fast you are when you need to switch. So 80 speed, 76 agility, you're going to have the same thing as the last build, a 91 strength, which you can also use your cap breakers to get to a 95 if you want that brick wall on Hall of Fame, but I would just use a max +1 or max +2 to get it on Hall of Fame or Legend if you really want. And then your vertical on this build, same thing as the last one, just because it's 2K26, we know what ratings are best, and 83 to get that Hall of Fame pogo stick. So you guys are going to see a few of the same attributes just because we've played this game for 6 months. We know what attribute numbers are the key thresholds to get the best animations and badges. So 83 vertical, 91 strength. Like I said, use your 5 cap breakers on offensive rebound to get this to a 96, and then use your remaining on either strength or defensive rebound, or you can use it on block. So we're going to go ahead and start it off by putting our block to an 84, which will get you paint, patrol, or silver. But if you want to put 4 cap breakers on this, it might even be 3 or 2 because it'll take less cap breakers because your rating isn't as high. To get this to an 88 to get high flying denier on gold, you can also do that if you have a lot of cap breakers. Interior defense, we're going to put all the way up to an 82 to get post lockdown silver. So same thing, you sit in the paint, you put your right stick up. Nobody should really make any contested layups on you because your ratings are high enough. And then another difference between this build and the last one is you will have perimeter defense. You see, we're putting this all the way up to a 74 to unlock all the perimeter defensive badges on at least bronze, so that you know, if you need to switch, which you're playing 3s, you're playing 2s, if you need to switch with one of your tall guards, you will have perimeter defense, and of course you will be faster with the speed and agility. You're going to put your steal all the way up to a 60, once again, just to get that bronze interceptor. It is important so that you will get some animations when you time the passing lanes right. And then pass accuracy, you're going to put all the way up to a 71. You don't need it to be that high on this build, and at the same time, you can't really afford it. Like I said, the fact that you have an 80 speed, 76 agility means that some of these other ratings aren't going to be as high, but 71 pass accuracy is actually the rating that everybody goes on their guards. This passes it very, very fast. You don't really need higher than this unless you are playing like Rec and you're the center throwing for break starters. But other than that, 71 pass actually is great, and you get silver dimer, which you can use one of your max +1s on. And then finish it up with driving dunk, same thing, 73 just to unlock posterizer bronze, so that if you get a poster, you at least have the badge to help you out for a higher green window. And then standing dunk all the way up to an 81, which will get you rise up on silver. And that is pretty much the build. As you can see, the last thing you put up is your free throw, and it's literally 1 rating. That is the 6'9" build that I would recommend if you play 3s in park, 3s in stage, or you just don't want a slower footer. You want to be one of those fast centers that run around and contest everything, or you play the power forward in Pro-Am or Rec. So let's go over this build one more time. 83.70 mid-range. You do not need higher shooting ratings than this in 2K26. These should be more than high enough to be able to hit your shots consistently. 71 pass accuracy, of course you would want it to be higher, but 71 is what pretty much every single guard has, and this is what I put on all my guard builds. You don't need higher than 71 to throw accurate, fast passes, so this is perfectly fine there. You're a good defender on this build, 82 interior, 84 block, so if you put your hands up and you jump at the right time, nobody's going to make stuff in the paint, and then a 74 perimeter. So if you're playing 3s, if you're playing the 4 in Pro-Am and you're playing that pick and roll, you need to switch up top, you can play decent defense. 91 offensive rebound, which you will use your first 5 cap breakers on to get this to a 96, so that you will get both box out beast and rebound chaser, both on Hall of Fame, which will boost up your defensive rebound rating. Like the last build, if you want to switch these up, you can, and get a 91 defensive and 88 offensive, and then put your 5 cap breakers on your defensive. But this is just how I prefer it. I've went over this multiple times, but 80 speed, 76 agility is the big difference maker between this and the last build. You are just very, very fast on this build, whether it be for slips, whether it be for popping, trying to get open on a slower center, or just playing defense. This build is a difference maker because of its speed and agility. And then 91 strength, where you will use your remaining cap breakers to get to a 95 to get that brick wall on Hall of Fame, and then 83 vertical for Hall of Fame pogo stick. And if you have any remaining cap breakers, you can put on either defensive rebound or block to get this to an 88 for gold high flying denier, and lastly 73 driving dunk for that bronze posterizer, and 81 setting dunk for silver rise up. And this is a 6'9" build for the 4 in Pro-Am, 3s in park, or just a faster popper center build if you don't like the slow footers. And when you make this build, you are called a glass Tyrant, and same as the last build, there's really no weaknesses to it because you're not posting up as a center and you're not going for layups, you're going for dunks. So once again, a center build with no weaknesses, faster than the last build, but I would say slightly worse overall, but I would say more versatile because you can play this build on the 3s court because of how much quicker he is. So those are the two main popper center builds. Let's get into a different type of center builds, a super tall stretch big. And now if you want to be a menace, you want to be different, you want to be a tall stretch big, here we go. A 7'4", 242-pound, lowest wingspan, 7'4" stretch big. So what you're going to do on this build, obviously you're a stretch big, you're going to max out your 3-point to an 89. Unfortunately, you cannot get a 93 point, so you can't get deep bomber takeover, but 89 3-point, and then you're going to put your mid-range all the way up to a 90, just because in case you take middies, unless you step in, you just want to shoot over people. That's the name of the game on a build like this, is shoot over people. You disrespect people, you disrespect their contest because they're short and you shoot over them. So 89 3-point, 90 mid-range, and then you're going to max out basically all your playmaking. So you're going to put an 87 pass accuracy, so when people double team you, you can make actually good passes, because trust me, if you play starting 5, if you play rec, if you play park, people will double team you on this build because it's hard to contest them. And then you're going to max out your ball handle, so you're not just limited to just catching the ball and shooting. You actually can dribble the ball a decent bit on this build, like not speed boost, but you know, work left, right, get that little bit of space, maybe get in front of them, crab them, and then shoot the 3, and then max out your speed with ball to a 42, which is crazy to say, max out your speed with ball to a 42. Yeah, it's not the fastest build, but it is toxic. If you guys have played against this build, you know how toxic it is. Interior defense all the way up to an 82. And then your perimeter defense will go all the way up to a 60. You're not going to really be playing much perimeter defense on a build like this because you're 7'4" and you are very slow. Steal all the way up to a 53, and then you're going to put your block all the way up to an 88, and you will unlock gold high fly and denier. Don't see the X1 of our vertical up. Let's go ahead and do our physicals now, and then we'll get back to that. Max out your speed, max out your agility, put your strength all the way up to an 84, and then put your vertical all the way up to a 71, which, as you can see now on your block, you don't get gold high fly and denier. Sorry, you don't get gold, but you get at least bronze, which, let's be honest, you are 7'4", so that's like the difference maker. It doesn't, like, think about it. The 6'9" that I just showed you gets gold high flying denier. This build's 7'4", so as long as you're in the paint and you jump at the right time, or you even have your right stick up, nobody is actually making anything on this build. And then your rebounding stats, it's your defensive is going to be higher than your offensive because you are going to be the one shooting the ball on offense. You're not going to be in the paint as much on offense because you are a pure stretch big. So defensive rebound to an 86, which you see gets gold box out beast, and then put your offensive rebound to an 81. Just in case you're down there, it will help you get better animation since you do have the lowest wingspan. But 86 defensive rebound is the big one, just so that, you know, if you are crashing on defense, because that's the big thing on defense, is you are going to be in the paint a lot because you're 7'4". You are a complete defensive liability on this build for anything not in the paint. You're a great paint defender because you're 7'4", so you just block everything. You're like Wemby down there. Nobody can score anything in the paint because you're so tall and lengthy. But anything in the perimeter is going to be hard for you to guard because of your 57 speed, 43 agility. So 86 defensive rebound over offensive is very important. And then, of course, 90 standing dunk for that gold rise up you absolutely need since you are 7'4". And then we're going to put a 60 driving dunk on this build. And then I'm assuming if you make a build like this, you definitely like to play starting 5 or rec or pro-am to put the rest on your free throw, get that to a 72. And that is the absolutely toxic 7'4" stretch build that, if you guys remember during patch 1, was ruining this game, but is still very viable. So this is the build. Let me go over it one more time. 89 3-point, 90 mid. This is the main part about this build, is shooting the ball, so you need these two ratings to be as high as possible. 87 pass accuracy for that gold break starter when you get the rebound on defense if you play rec or pro-am. And then, of course, you max out your ball handle and speed with ball, because if you have the ball, you want to do a few moves to get open yourself. You just need these to be maxed. I know 42 speed with ball being maxed is crazy, but that's just what the 7'4" does. 90 standing dunk for that goal to rise up. Of course, 7'4" with a 90 standing dunk, you are going to be able to dunk over a lot of people. And then your defense is pretty solid on this build. 88 block, 82 interior. At 7'4", nobody should be able to make anything, and I mean anything, in the paint on you. 60 perimeter and 53 steal. You just max these out even though they're low ratings. And then an 86 defensive, because your job on defense is basically sit in the paint, get rebounds, and deny anything from going up in the paint. Deny anybody from going up in the paint. Get blocks and just contest their layups and contest their dunks. And then of course you max your speed, you max your agility, strength to an 84, and then max your vertical to a 71. And this is that toxic, very, very toxic, but slightly overpowered and annoying to go against 7'4" stretch big build. And when you make him, you are called a rim reaping 3-level dimer. Now this build does have weaknesses because he's 7'4", because he is so slow, but you see shades of Wemby, shades of Porzingis. That's basically how you're going to play on this build. You are an absolute paint defender that can shoot the ball, and of course you can dunk the ball really well with that 90 standing dunk. But yeah, this is a 7'4" stretch big build, and that is the 3 best center builds on the game. So that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys made any of the 3 builds I showed you, congratulations. Then you are going to improve greatly, because like I said, these are definitely the 3 best center builds you can make right now on the game. If you guys did enjoy this video, or you want to support the channel, or you just made any of these builds and I helped you out, please do me a favor, drop a like, sub if you're new, and I'm out.